Good morning, everyone. It's Laurie, Chair of PACLIG Western Cape. I just want to welcome everybody for joining us this morning. And then I am going to give over to Emma, who will do the welcome and also the introduction of our presenter today. Thank you, Emma. Hi, Emma, are you there?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry about that, Mari. Can I just give you guys the Zoom protocol for this morning first? Can I ask everyone just to mute their microphones if it's not muted and to switch off the cameras? And then allow me to introduce our presenter for today, Deputy Director, Regional Organizations, Reniel Maton. Thank you very much for today, Reniel.
Thank you very much. This is such a privilege, hi guys. At least you can see what I look like. And I speak to you from, or I present from George, a very wet George outside. Yeah, so exciting times we live in because we start with ebooks. So I'm going to share with you my screen. Because from now on, you're going to see what I do on my cell phone, and I want to share with you the protocols and the stuff that we have set up for you to make use of. Right, so this is the poster that we're making use of in the Western Cape to create awareness. There you can see the Libby app, the little picture. You can see it's available on Google Apps and the Apple Store, the iStore, and it just gives a little bit of a background of this. So this is a poster that should be available and up at all the public libraries in the Western Cape. Right. So I'm going to start with a protocol, just the background, so that you can understand where are we coming from, what is this for, and so forth. So I assume you can all see my screen, right? Someone just give me an indication.
Yes, we can.
Right. So this Overdrive platform is used to make ebooks and audiobooks available. At this time, we do not do magazines. So it is a free service for all valid registered patrons of public libraries in the Western Cape. Right. So it is not a service that we make available to the whole of South Africa, because you can just think we have a limited collection and we provide a service for the Western Cape public libraries. So the access is available through the Libby app, as I mentioned, and the Overdrive website. I will show you just in a little while what it looks like. I've seen some well-known names. Some of you already attended this workshop. So yeah, just bear with me. So the service can be accessed through private and public Wi-Fi. However, the data cost is the responsibility of the user, and I think public libraries must make the public aware of that. So the loan of the books may be free, but the downloading of the items, so the use of data, so people could go to public Wi-Fi sites to access Libby before they start, because the moment you open, you loan the item, you click on it, it will download that item, and after that, the item will be available offline on your device. So if you move away from the Wi-Fi spot, it would have downloaded on your smartphone or your device, your tablet or your laptop or whatever, and then you will have access to it. You can read it for the next 2 weeks, after which it will automatically be deleted from your device. So the Overdrive standard operating procedures are intended for technical and training purposes to maintain and instruct on this content. So this is an updated version that we revisited this week, Monday. And so it is quite fresh with some new stuff. So some of you have attended the training. This protocol is different. It was already distributed to everyone. So here you can see we've got two team leaders. And why? Because we have two systems. City of Cape Town has a symphony, LIMS, that does not integrate at this time, the same as SLIMS. The SLIMS data information management system used by the Provincial Library Service does not integrate with the Overdrive system. It runs separately, although there is a connection on the LIMS that take you to the Libby site or to the Overdrive site to loan books. But the statistics and anything else does not automatically update. The membership does not automatically update. So that is, I will show you what to do. So the borrowing privileges, all individuals who are valid active members, that means you are registered, and for the non-metro libraries in the Western Cape, that includes all the blocked members also. So the subscription members must apply for membership in person at the Western Cape Public Library. So there may be visitors from elsewhere, other provinces in South Africa. When they apply for, become a member for that year, they're a paid up member, they become a member, and it is registered on the system, then they will have access to the ebooks. But after their membership lapsed, they will automatically be removed from Overdrive. So anyone who is a subscribed member, if you had access and suddenly it stops because your subscription lapsed, just understand that is where it comes from. Then the other thing is we will keep an eye on this because it depends on the number of users. The Overdrive service only started halfway through August. So this is still brand new. This is not almost exactly a month that Overdrive is going. So we're still seeing an increase in usage. People who have been members in the past, it lapsed, they come and they say, please, I want to be a member again because I want to make use of the ebooks. So we see a slow but steady increase in this. So this will also have an impact on the collection that we have available. Funding is available, is limited, so we have to manage this. So new members and renewals of application must be done at the local public library. And the number of loans at the moment is 2 per person at a time, 1 renewal per person at a time, but that is dependent upon holds. So if someone is already waiting for that book, you will have to come into back of the line again. So we have a collection development team who keeps an eye out on the holds because the number of holds would indicate how popular some items are and if we should increase the number of copies we have in the collection. So the number of holds per person is 3, and that is with good reason because as the members increase, people put holds, and sometimes you're not really interested in something anymore and you would like to rather read something else, and the thing is it will make some other people wait for something that you are not very serious about anymore. So it just helps us to manage the pressure on the collection. Then the loan period is 14 days for audiobooks and ebooks, and there you can see the patron classes. So, but at the moment, when we started this collection, we focused first on, there you can see adult fiction, English and Afrikaans, and isiXhosa and juvenile isiXhosa. Then adult nonfiction, Afrikaans nonfiction, and teenage books, Afrikaans and English. But at the moment, not children and juvenile books. You will see some in the collection, but they are limited. We thought that we would only start out with this. Now, the other thing is also, and I will show you, the public can make recommendations for the collection from the website, the Overdrive website. So for items that's not in the collection. And we have already received some recommendations. So wherever there is a trend that shows up, it will guide the collection development team on what to put into the collection more. Right, then audiobooks also. And something that we also picked up within the first month that we were still busy with the training was that Overdrive will add free titles to this collection ad hoc. And the library service do not know what they will be adding. So you will see some children's books there, and junior nonfiction and storybooks. But those are books added by Overdrive. It's free for us. The other thing is we do not know how long we will have it in the collection. So Overdrive added it as they saw fit, or as publishers make titles available for free for limited time. Right, so the selection process, this is just a little bit of the background. So the user recommendations are made by borrowers to provide indicators for possible collection acquisition. And the reader wish list is that cannot be seen. So whatever patrons indicate that they would like to read at some time, that is actually just a wish list for themselves. And I will show you when we get to the Libby app. Then the number of holds and titles could contribute to decisions regarding collection and acquisition, as I told you. Right, so this is a little bit more technical. I'm not going to touch on this, but you can go read up on this. This is just to show you how they look. Yeah. One thing that I will show you, this is actually very nice, a nice feature in Overdrive, is that we can curate our own collections. It means that we can sort of do a little bit of reader guidance with collections of books. It's like a display of books according to a theme. And when we get to the app or the Overdrive site, you will clearly see. So at the moment, the collection development team is responsible for this. And from time to time, they will revisit this and make some changes, put up some new collections. This is done, changed every month, and even sometimes sooner. Right, so the access rights are adapted by the director of the library. Access points, here you can see it is the Libby app, the Western Cape Overdrive, and you Cape Town.gov.za, Cape Town OPAC is also available. Desktop of each municipality, and then the Libby app, and I will show you now again what it looks like, and the App Store for applications. As I told you, integrated information management systems in the West. The city of Cape Town
It looks like we lost Renelle for a moment. I'm sure she will join shortly again. Just patience, please.
Registrations does not update automatically. And so the systems administrators for library service and for SLIMS and for City of Cape Town Symphony must weekly update these membership. And then at the public library, when new members come in, they become a member, the libraries must send an update with a list of new members and all the information. I will show you just now what the information is that must be sent. And then there is a form, a prescribed form that is included with this when there is too much data involved. So the public might check for access to a system. We said 5 working days, but it's actually much quicker than that. So someone come in today, if you immediately requested them to be registered on Overdrive, they will be included. The systems administrator really works very fast on this. And yeah, but they should give a little bit of a time. But the thing is, it depends on the library staff and how quick they are to respond and to log a call. So private information of the public is only used for membership registration purposes. So this is according to the POPI Act. Protection of Private Information Act. We just needed to build that into our protocol, that if anyone queried this, what are we using their ID number for, their birth date, the identifiable information. Right, so the registration protocol. So the initial online registration of registered members, users are done using the available library membership number and the date of birth, and that is always the format. Date, so 02.07.1971 if your birth date is on the 2nd of July 1971. So the City of Cape Town members is different. They will register the first time with their available library membership number as a username and the last six digits of the membership number as the password. Right. So members of a library that is not computerized use their ID number as a username and the date of birth, because remember, they're not a computerized library, so they don't have a patron number. So in their case, we use the ID number. A password request can only be done by the library staff to the Overdrive help desk email if a password needs to be reset. The public cannot reset their own passwords. So in the case of a compromised password, someone will say, someone is making use of my ebook password and my patron number, and I want it to be reset. Then they have to go to the public library to request that. Right, then when borrowers have trouble registering online, they have to visit the local library where they are registered to check on the status of the registration. It has happened in the past that members were loaded wrong. There were maybe a wrong ID number, and sometimes the same patron number used for more than one member. So then the systems administrator had to any, mini, money, mo. One of them had to be chosen. So if someone comes and you see, oh goodness, this person is connected to more than one patron number, you will have to find out, or that person will then have to receive a new patron number. So you have to make sure that they are registered, of course, and that all the information is accurate, and then communicate that with the systems administrator. In some cases, a lot of members had to be reloaded. So it's just a matter of following up. So when borrowers have trouble registering online, yeah, so now you know they have to visit locally and check on the status. And then if any data must be changed, an email must be sent to the systems administrator to log a call with the relevant request. So the fault logging looks like this. City of Cape Town logs calls in-house, and it is dealt with in-house and escalated as needed. For the non-metro libraries, everyone outside of City of Cape Town will be handled by the systems administrator through the Overdrive help desk. So the public will not send emails themselves privately, but it will be done through the public libraries. And the following information must be provided when calls are logged for up to 3 persons: card number, date of birth, ID number, library name, branch code. If it's more than 3 members, the public libraries have a form, a standardized form. If you don't have it yet, you can request that form from the systems administrator. You all know it. You can send an email to the Overdrive help desk, and Conrad will send you the form to use. Right, so training is actually ongoing. We finished most of the training before the launch of Overdrive, but since then we already had a number of repeats. So trainees or needs for training can be identified. The idea is to train trainers, to train library staff to be able to assist the public to help themselves. And then training materials like videos, the PowerPoint notes and slides will be made available together with the standard operating procedures. So the first trainings that came out with the first operating procedures, you now receive this set of notes on the operating procedures is updated and should be used instead of the first ones. And then you can go see, this is the URLs. At these sites are also training available with notes on how to access and everything you can do with Overdrive. So marketing, you saw the e-poster that I showed you when we started. There was an official media statement that was made available to all the municipalities to use, even on their Facebooks or anywhere else, because sometimes the public libraries has access to local radio stations or good connections with public local media. That is then the set of information that I could make available. There were articles in the Cape Librarian, and articles will be ongoing and updates will be made available as we go along, and also in the City of Cape Town listener newsletter. Right, so reporting, okay, this is a little bit more technical for public libraries to make use of in the background. So this is just about the delegated responsibilities and the permissions that we also mentioned a little bit earlier. Because the systems does not integrate, or it is not integrated, it means that public libraries will not have access to their own statistics. The statistics is drawn every month by the library service, and then of course the City of Cape Town responsible official who will make it and disseminate it to the municipalities and the public libraries. Right, so here you can see is we have who is responsible for the purchasing, and it was approved by the director of the library service, and as recently as the 14th. So this is a very fresh document still. Right, so now I want to just show you with the training. Here you can see. So this is the Overdrive website. When you access the Overdrive website, this is the URL. The best browser to use for this is Google Chrome. Safari is with Apple, And all right, but the recommended for normal Androids or computer use outside of Apple is the Google Chrome browser. Right. And then you can see here, this is the Libby app. And you can see it's available on Google Play Store and the Apple iStore. Right, so there is also what you call it, a troubleshooting slides that I will share with you guys. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the practical side of things. So when I go to the internet, this is what the Overdrive website looks like. All right, guys, I just want to get my sharing going. All right. So this is what the app, the Overdrive website looks like. And there you can see, you can access here the Libby app. And the Libby app looks like this when you do it online on your computer. This is almost the same as when you do it on your device, on your tablet or on your cell phone, but I would recommend that the Libby app rather be used directly on the Libby on your devices. All right, now this thingy up here is in the way, so I am going to sorry, I have to close this now just to get to my sharing. All right, I want to show you my cell phone and I'm going to take you to the Libby app. So when you land, it will probably look like this. Let me take you out of here. When you downloaded it, you can see I shared my screen. There is Libby at the bottom. All right. So when I click on Libby, it will take me here. All right. This does not mean you are signed in. If I want to go to the main menu, I always have to click on the Libby little face. So I click here and you can see I've got a notification. When I go back, you see I've got a notification. It's either a hold became available or I have to return something. All right, so I click on the Libby app. Now, yeah, you see there is my notification. So now it tells me what did I return. It was returned automatically. And when I would go and search for it on my device, it will not be available because it will programmatically have deleted itself or been deleted. Right, now you can see no cards is loaded here. So someone who is new, who is coming in here for the first time, is going to say, I'm going to click on no cards. You have no cards at this library. I'm going to say add a card. Now, you can only do this if you are already a member of a public library in the Western Cape. All right. So someone could either choose another location like City of Cape Town, Western Cape Provincial Library Service. Now, Western Cape Provincial Library, this is everyone outside of City of Cape Town. All right. So I'm a member at the library depot. Now, if someone said, I would like a library card, and they clicked here, it would say, visit your local branch and ask to become a member. You will likely need some proof of your name and present address. The paperwork only takes a few minutes, and often you can start using your new card to borrow print books and digital books and audio books right away. So if you're worried about an old find or lost book, have a chat with your librarian. Don't be shy. Libraries would love to have you back. Oh yes, please show that. We love to have them back. Very happy when they come back to us. And we are willing to accommodate them. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main menu. And I want to add a card. I want to become a member. Right, so I'm going to add a card. And I'm in the Western Cape Provincial Library Service. So I'm going to add my card number. All right, don't use my card because you can see all my stuff. No one else's look like this, so don't worry, I use it for training purposes. Right, there's my card. All right, so you can give your card a name. You can, yeah, so you can see I've got no loans out, and I can have 2, and I can have 3 holes, and I've got 1. All right, so next. Right, so now what actions? Let's see what I can do. At the moment, my card is blue. I can change my library colors. And these are 2 colors I have at the moment. Or I can change it to that. You see how my card changes. So if I want to do something else like that, I can do that. I like the blue, so I'm going to stick with that. But this is frivolous, so for some people that might be interesting or usable. Anyway, so actions, there you can see you can rename your card, you can verify your card if you wanted to make sure. You can even load more than 1 card on your device. So you can add another card. So if you shared your tablet with your mom who's staying at home while you're working during the day, she listens to audiobooks, you can do that too. Or your mom and your dad shares a device, you can do that. Just make sure that the one doesn't delete the other's, information, or return with books that say, whose books are these? I didn't borrow these books. And meantime, they're on a different card. Right. So now I want to go out of here. Right. So this is now where we are. We're signed in. All right. Now I want to go to the main library. I want to see what's going up in Libby. What's on the shelf? All right, it seems like the internet is slow. This is because this looks exactly the same on my cell phone. And I hope it is not Libby itself. All right, I just wanted to show you while we're struggling with that. It seems like it's not the internet per se, it is maybe the website, the Overdrive website. Here you can see the timeline. So where did I click? I clicked here on the little watch. All right. So the little watch shows me my history, everything that happened with all my books in the meantime. So my history, it will show me what happened with this book. So if I pressed on it, I would be able to see what I did with this. Now, I really hope that everything works along. So the internet access is fine because you can still hear me and see me. But the Libby app is not working along well. Because it's this, I cannot do searches in here. And it does not connect. All right, let's skip this a moment. I'm going to skip to the Overdrive website if you don't mind, because if the app is not working, let's do something else. So this is the Overdrive website. All right, so here you can give feedback. Do you like this? Don't you like this? And any recent updates, you will see if get a notification there. Right, but we're not signed in, so I have to sign in now. And if I sign in, you have a choice. So again, it's City of Cape Town or Western Cape Library Service. I'm going to choose this the next, the second one. And then I'm going to put in my membership number. And there I'm in. So suddenly it is my account. And when I click on my account, I'll be able to go see my loans, my holds, my wish lists, all my rated titles. The thing is, at the moment, you can only rate titles inside of the Overdrive website and not in Libby. You can make recommendations, in other words, for what you would like to be bought for the collection. You can look at your history and you can change your settings or sign out. Right. This little thingy always is your bookshelf. So this will show you what is on your bookshelf. Now at the moment, I don't have anything here. And again, it tells me I can borrow 2 titles. And I can see all my account limits. So if I clicked on that, I'll see there, it will tell me 1 of 3 holds, 3 days before expiration. It will send me a notification that it is due. So then I can put in extra effort to finish the book I'm busy with. You can, the wish list is almost, you can put in a wish list for all, or a indicator that you want to read the book for almost every title we have. So, right, and then you can make almost also limitless recommendations. Right, so that the same thing that you see here is what you will see on this side. All right, and if you scroll down, you will see it repeated here too. So wherever you wanted to see your history or your wish list or your holds, your loans, it is 3 on the same page that you can make use of right here. So if you wanted to go to the main collection, you click on this little emblem here. Now this is the example of what we talked about, the curated lists. It's like a bookshelf indicating according to theme what we have in the collection, and this is changed every month. So it just makes a fresh representation of what we have, because remember, we've got a limited collection that is set up. We subscribe for titles for about a year. There are different models of acquiring titles, normally 12 months or a certain number of circulations, after which it will disappear from the library service collection. So the acquiring of ebooks for library services is different than for private. So I am a member of Amazon.com and of Audible.com. Whatever I bought is mine. If I paid for it, it stays in the cloud, it's mine. It is never deleted. It will never be removed from my collection if I bought it. But for library services, it's more of a subscription service. So we sort of subscribe to it for a certain number of circulations or a certain length of time, depending on which comes first. And these models of availability is determined by the publishing houses. So every publisher will say how it should happen. Right. So This month is Heritage Month. So here we have this. If we want to see all the titles inside of the Heritage Month and not just these, I will do this. You can see there's the heading Heritage Month, and I can scroll down and go see what's up. Everything that's South African culture, history, right? So you can see all the titles, but now I want to see differently. This one is at the moment gallery, or I can see it that it's listed like this. If it's listed, it gives you a little bit more detail. If I clicked on a title, it would give me the detail of that title. Now this is very nice. You can see this in the app also. But here you can look at the details, because someone asked me, so how large what is the size of these files? There you can see, and the kilobytes, if you divide it by 100, will give you the number of megabytes. So this is 6.4 megabyte, the size of this file. So here I can rate it. So if I like this book, I can give it 2 stars or 5 stars, whichever I would like to do. If you wanted to read a sample, you could do this. You know what's nice about the samples is that you can even put a bookmark in here. You can put notes in here. And once you read this book one day, you get to borrowing it, you will be able to see it, because the system will remember every bookmark that you had. So if I now borrowed this book, because it's available, 1 of 1 copies is available. It is an ebook. If it was an audiobook, it would have said audiobook here with some earphones, right? It's not in my history at the moment, that's why it's grayed out. And if I only wanted to add it to my wish list, I could do it here. So now I put it in my wish list, and I would be able to, when I look up here, go look at my wish lists, I would be able to see it is now in my wish list. All right. So now if I go down, let's see. Here you can see all of these books are available, because it gives you the option to borrow it. Right. I'm going to go back. So there you can see it's indicated in my wish list. When I go down, I can see this one is also on my wish list. So it will keep on remembering the system what you have put in your wish list. This book, see here, says waiting time is about 2 weeks. Why? Because someone has borrowed it and there's a waiting list. So there's only 1 copy available. Fortunately, no one is waiting. But now if I want to make sure I'm next in line, I have to place a hold on it. Now in the Overdrive website, I have to put in my email address now. Right. And now only copy and paste if you're sure that your email address is correct. All right. And then I have to confirm. The same with the app and in the Overdrive website, you have to always confirm. Right. So success, Sunveld Stories. I've placed a hold on it. This is my second hold. Or this is the second hold on this 1 copy, but this is also my second hold. Right. So I'm out of here. Now here at the left, you can see you can do some filtering of the stuff. Now remember, we're in Heritage Month only. Okay? If I said, you can see there are 26 non-fiction in this collection, 12 of which are biographies and or autobiographies. So I can filter, I can say I would only like to see, let's see if there are audiobooks. Here you can see you can filter it according to language. So there's 19 English and 11 Afrikaans. If I only wanted to see English, then it will only show me the English. And let's see here, audiobooks. That's the formats available. Right, and you can see if I wanted to read something specifically about business, there you can see South African background and what is available on this. This book, there is a waiting time of 4 weeks. And Big South African Hair book, also waiting time of 4 weeks. All right, so there's no ebook or audiobooks in this collection. I don't even see the option for that. Right, so you can see here the date added. You can filter that. So this, everything we have in our collection, we only started last month, so everything will be recent. Right, so now you know how to change the look. You want to sort it by popularity. There's only two years, so it doesn't make sense to sort that. So I'm going to remove that option and that also. And now it would make more sense to sort it by author. You want it to be alphabetical according to author. Then it would be Audrey Blino first, and then it just makes it easier if you wanted to look for something specific. Right. Right, so you know now about your bookshelf. So this is what you loan. I don't have anything there. This is my notifications. So if something it has been returned, or it's due, or I have a hold that I have access to, then I could do that. All right, so let's do this. Let's search specifically for Dion Meyer titles. This will now show me all the titles done by Dion Meyer. All right. So here you can see people already rated these books. And okay, you know how to get to see how large your files are. If you clicked on this, it will give you more information about the book. You can open this and read the summary of the book, the details, and even reviews on the book. These are the published reviews of a book. All right. Okay, so there's 0 of 4 copies available, which means that all 4 copies of this title is out on loan. So I can only place a hold on this title if I wanted to borrow it. And of course, it's an ebook. Right, and there is a description of what it is, the keywords that it is described with. All right, so I want to go back to the main collection, everything that is in Overdrive. I'll always click on this emblem here at the top. And now I can see there is my Libby access if I wanted to go to the Libby app. Now here are crooked books. So everything about crooks and murders and stuff like this. All right. Now I can see, if I look here at the left, I can choose, I only want to see ebooks or I only want to see audiobooks. If I say Overdrive, listen audiobooks, I only want to see the audiobooks because I don't like sitting and reading the whole time. Here I can see what's available. So all of them are out. I can only place holds. None of these are available. All right. So if ever I'm going to go back, I get into this collection, and now, as I told you, increasingly we see a huge, you know, you can see place a hold. There is one that you can borrow. Place a hold, place a hold, place a hold, place a hold. Now, I don't want to go through all of this. I only want to see what is available. Sorry for the scrolling. Then I go here and I say availability. So only show me what's available now. Then it will show me only what is available, so that I do not need to scroll through all the titles that is out there. And most of them may be being on hold, all right? Because that can be very frustrating and it wastes my time. So, right. So I'm now only in audiobooks. Oh, what did I choose? These are ebooks. If I said only what is available now. And if I said then, and here you can see there's no option for audiobooks, so there are no audiobooks here. All right. So, and then you can filter it more. Just remember, if you keep on filtering, it will apply those filters the whole time, and you have to reset. I clear all. Otherwise, you will keep on searching and say, what? There's very little books now left. It's not the whole collection, because it will keep on filtering, searching in the filters that you set here at the left. So if I go out now, remember where you are. You are in Health Matters. So this is the collection. It's not the big collection. If you want to see the audio only, all the audio books, there it is. Gives you just some, and I say see all. And now I want to see more on the page, and I go to the gallery setting. Now I see more at the time. You can see the earphones. It's an indication, and there you can see it's available. I can borrow it. All right. So if I would choose to borrow a book, it says I've got 14 days to borrow this. And now if I borrow it, again, as I told you, now I can download it. I've confirmed it, so it means that it's now in my collection. Right. Audible, Libby and Overdrive syncs everything. Once you're online and you are in a Wi-Fi spot or somewhere, when you connect, it will update and sync with the rest of your devices. So the moment you get your tablet and you were online with the Overdrive website, one day you get online with your tablet again, and when you go in, it will automatically update. All right, and it will download, and you can read your devices online or offline. Right, so here you can see it's been checked out for me until the 1st of October 2021, and it tells me I can still borrow one other title. Now I can listen to it now, or I can download this. All right, I'm not going to listen to this now. Right, so let's search for, let's go to, let's borrow a book. I'm going to go back. And remember, we are still inside of the audiobooks. If I did a search, go back to the main collection. Remember, you can put a bookmark inside of an audiobook. Also, it will remember it. So if you were at a very interesting site and you want to replay that at some time for someone, or go listen to it again, you can mark it. It will remember it. Even when you return the book and one day you borrow it again, it will remember you. It will remember the bookmarks that you loaded into that book. Right, so let's go I want to do the following one. I'm going to do for, I wonder if it's available. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There it is. Oh my goodness. Is it available? It doesn't seem so. Go to holds. Just want to see. All right. So, oh my goodness. Is this deliver after 25? Oh yes, you know what I did with this book? I suspended my holes. So, deliver as soon as possible. All right, so, okay, you'll get this title when the next person returns it. All right. Okay, unfortunately, I won't have access to it right now. All right, I wanted to show you something specific. All right, let's go, for example, I'm going to go back to the main section and let's go to, I'm going to do something on fasting. There are all kinds of books on fasting. Intermittent, there's an audiobook and an ebook. So if I cannot borrow it, so it doesn't help me much. So if I borrowed, for example, this book is, yeah, let's borrow this book. And I say, read now in the browser. All right, so the moment I click on the screen, it will turn the page over. And here this is. So when I now go on and I just want to look for everything that talks about, I'm looking for words. So they have to give me something about stress. Do they talk about stress somewhere? How do we relieve my stress? Stop stress, minimalist, getting started, living simply, further information, mindfulness. All right, oh, let's see about mindfulness. So mindful, and it will show me this. Now, the other thing is what works well is if you use a baseline word like mindful, you can mindfully, mindfulness. If you use mindful, it will include all those other words. All right, but now I'm looking for, say, like this, the mindful team, powerful skills to help you handle stress. Yeah, I want to know how to handle stress. Now I click on this and it will take me there inside of this book. All right, but now the same goes with the Libby app. I don't like this double page way of looking at things. When I click here, it changes it so that it looks like this. Maybe now I like this narrower paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, then you could do it like that. Now you could change the way it looks. You could do searches. Now, if this is here, it gives me websites of where I can go look. I want to put a bookmark in here one day that I can easily see where are the bookmarks. Then I click here and it places a bookmark in here. All right. So afterwards, I will be able to access this again. You can also do other things. You can do reading settings. You can enlarge your font. Now this double thingy isn't very nice. I'm going to do it single. And so for people who have visual limitations, they can change their lettering quite large. You can see like that. All right. So that it would be better for them to see. Now you can see this background is white. It's very harsh. Some people say that they like the white, but sepia is softer on the eyes. So during the day when you read and you read a lot on screens, it's always a good idea to use the sepia background because the bright light is very harsh. And I can speak from experience. With harsh light, I deteriorated my eyesight. If extended times with too harsh or bright light constantly is bad for your eyes. And then nighttime, during the day, this is not intended for daytime reading, although some people like to do that. But especially if you share a room with someone else and you don't want to hinder them, keep them out of the sleep because of the bright light, the spotlight, you know, that's shining somewhere, can keep some people from sleep. So if you do this, it's also better for the eyes at nighttime. So when I read during the night, my lights are switched off, because when I feel tired, I just want to close my eyes and sleep and not want to get up and go switch off a light somewhere, then you could do this and set it for darkness. Okay, but this is now during the day, so we're just doing the sepia for us. Then you can set your font type. You can do paperback, so it looks like this. Open dyslexic with the weighted lettering. Okay, but I like this color normally. This is a format that I'm used to, so I like that. You can also do custom setting. More fonts, you can do left or justified like this, then it hooks it on both sides. For some people, it's easier reading. They like the look of it. It looks a little bit neater maybe. Line spacing, if you wanted the spacing to be further apart, like that. That's maybe a little bit too dense. 1.5 is always a good one. And then weighted heavy is like bold. Also for people who are poor sighted and have difficulty to read. But normal is like this. And then you can see it will apply whatever you have done to it. All right, so you can see this is how you did. So it will, if you do the search again, it will take you back to your last search that you did. And you can clear that out, clear recent searches, and it will remove everything for you. All right. So if I had Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I wanted to know about investments, you could just put in invest, and it will show you investing, investments, everything about investing. And then you can scroll through the search content, and it will show you, make your options, and then you can go read only on the sections about investment. So if you've got a large tome of a book with a lot of stuff, then you can do specific searches. Now, all right, now I'm going to scroll through this book a little bit. Sorry. I just want to show you something. Come on. I want it now to go back. It doesn't want to. All right, so say if I wanted to, I'm going to, if I wanted to put a bookmark here also, and I'm in chapter 4, and I put another bookmark. But now in the end, I want to know, what are all my bookmarks? All right. You can sync your books, so that, remember, it will give you the option sync it, so that it will automatically upload all the bookmarks that you have placed. All right. Here I can see all my bookmarks. All right. So I click on my bookmarks, and there it shows me the 3 bookmarks that I've placed in my book. All right. So now you can see this is how I do my book. And now I'm paging back through my book. All right. And now, and remember, it opened it in a separate browser. The moment I opened a book from my Overdrive website, it opened it in a separate browser. If I want to go back to the Overdrive site, I have to go back to my first browser tab. Right, so here we are back, and I click here so that I can see everything that is out here. These crooked books, these health matters, these addictive reads, award-winning books you need to read, and winter warming page dinners. It's one of the curated lists that we started with. Graphic novels, apparently very popular, and a lot of requests for graphic novels. And Black Lives Matter. All right, so there's a lot of nice stuff. What we're also going to do is to add some of the free stuff that Overdrive loaded onto the system also into these curated lists. So if you wanted to look at the isiXhosa lists, there you can see the lists. And if you went again into a specific heading or a curated list, you will have the option to filter it. All right. But you first have to go into the curated list. So you can search, you know about that, your bookshelf. So if I went and I looked at my bookshelf, now you can see I've got 2 books on my bookshelf. The one is an audiobook, the one is an ebook. And here I can go and I can return my books. So if I did not want to do this, I don't want this anymore, I want to go borrow something else, I'm going to return this. And I say you have to confirm it, return the title. All right, and there it is gone. And now I have another one. Your loans are waiting for you in Libby. Get the free app and start reading today. All right. I don't want to see this the whole time. Right, so history. If I click on history, here I can see everything. There you can see the book that I have now, what I returned, and everything else that was borrowed and returned. And I'm already on page 2. The other thing is also, and I will show you inside of Libby, you can with the settings, you can change this so that you do not do this anymore. And this is also your reading. And here you can set what focus you want. So if you're a teenager or a juvenile and you want to see only juvenile books, you could click here. Then it will show you only this. The only thing is, once one forgets what setting you have placed this is permanent. It will be applied to what you have chosen. Sometimes one forget that I have to go back and change this setting because you won't see everything once you have changed this. All right. Let's see if we can get access to I'm going to go out of here now. I want to see if this is working now. All right, something is happening. I'm right here. And okay. Okay. Let's see what is happening. All right. Okay, it seems like there is, okay. Let's do this. All right, I showed you the little history a while back. It seems like Libby is working again. So this is the history. So it shows you what you borrowed and when. All right, so it seems like we have not, well, it did sync because it shows that I've got a new book in my timeline. You can see how between my devices it links. So I just worked on the Overdrive website. Now I'm on my cell phone, and here you can see. So I still have Living Simply in my collection, and I have put a hold on Sandveld stories. Right, so here it shows me how long I have and for the borrowing. Right, and then everything else. And right, you can go look. So you can see here, this is on my loan shelf, and this is on my holding shelf. Right, if I went up here to actions, I can synchronize my shelf, but it was just now synchronized. Then it will update it. Or I can say export my timeline. So now what is a good idea is at the end of the year, you want to see all the books that you've read this year. And then you can sort of have a list of everything you've done. Just remember that the library service have got subscribed titles. So the loan models is like this: certain number of loans or 12 months. We are subscribed from April of this year until the end of March next year, which means after that all the books in our current collection that is not free. There are Gutenberg titles, Duke Classics, and some other titles that Overdrive make available. But most of the others will be available only for that timeline, and then it will disappear from our collection. So you have to make sure that you download your list before that time. So I showed you the export timeline, disable activity recording. So if you say, no, man, I don't want this thing to keep record of everything that I've learned, what I've done with it, then you can change this. And it will always ask you to confirm your choice. I'm not going to make a choice right now or confirm that. So if you want to just clear out everything at the end of the year or whenever this becomes too cluttered, then you can remove all activities. I'm not going to do that right now either. So then I go out like this. Now I want to go to the main collection. And this is always your library, your big library, the main collection. All right. So very few collections match your preferences. Let's click on preferences. What are my preferences? Audiobooks, language any, audience all, supports anything, available everything, sort by default. All right, so I'm going to say format. I want any. Apply preferences. And there it will show me. So you can see the last time I was in Libby, I applied certain choices of what I wanted it to filter. So if I applied filters, I have to make sure that it is that if I don't see what I want to see, I have to revisit my preferences. All right, so here you can see what was just added or popular. Now let's see what is popular. So I click on popular, and here it will show me, that's not strange, it's a romance. Oh, and I want to read this book, Personal Librarian. Right, so here you can see, so of course popularity is according to how many people want to read it or have read it. Right. So there you can see what's up. And what came out as a trend, what was actually very interesting, is the number of audiobooks and how popular audiobooks are. You can see the top book number 3, 4, 5 are all audiobooks. So audiobooks are actually very popular. So now if I go to the top, and if I wanted to borrow this book, I can borrow it. It's available, right? So it is, and I would be able to take it out. If I said borrow, there you can see it is immediately starting to download this book. All right. I will only be able to open it once the whole book has downloaded. Right, so I've got to wait a little bit. Or I can then keep browsing. Right. And here you can see I can download from the cloud. It means that it is busy downloading at the moment. Now, if I clicked on the title, let's see what happens. It will give me information about this book. It will give me my history. So I just borrowed it. This reading journey always refers to your history of loans. There you can see a summary of the book. And then you can see other titles, either in a series, fortunately also in the collection. And there you can see more information about the book. Right, that's a different title. So if you wanted to see other books by Julia Quinn, you clicked on it, it will show you, it will immediately take you to other titles written by the same author. All right, so you can see how many of these books are out. You can only place a hold, you can only place a hold, place a hold, place a hold, place a hold, place a hold. All of her books are out. Just shows you how popular the romance books are. And if you don't have frequent updates of your romance books in your collection, you will lose readers because they will go out and buy books, exchange books, do something. Right, so we did some refining in the Overdrive website. Now here you can also refine. So if I click on refine, I can again sort by the format. So there's only 2 books or audiobooks. And remember, if I refine it and you apply it, then next time you do searches and you don't see everything, then you must just remember you set some preferences for what you wanted to see. So if you're an audience, now remember, where are we? We are in here in this selection of books. If we wanted to go to the main collection, we go here, main library. So this is where we are. All right. And now we have to first choose, say, let's go to Crooked Books. Now it will again give me an option to refine. So you can only refine within a certain group of books. Refining is just temporary. While you can set your preferences, it's the same things, but this is permanent and this is temporary, but within that collection, and you have to undo everything before you, it will continue searching on new things. And here, remember, we just changed our preferences because I couldn't do any searches. It didn't find things that I was looking for. Okay, so here you can see a description of this curated list according to themes, what is included. So 33 books or titles in this selection. All right, so you know about the library and you are able to set your preferences and to see what's popular. All right, so if you wanted to see all the subjects, here you can see again, once you go into a set list, you can start to set your preferences or sortings or whatever. Here you can see all the romance, 380 romance nog only, 476 literature, classic literature, thriller, mystery. But here you can go and play around. Right, short stories, poetry, reference. So let's go see what we have on the reference shelf. All right, maybe not your normal, what you would see as reference, but a little more information. And sometimes if you see some Spanish books, it is books that Overdrive loaded for free. They do not tell the library service they have loaded anything. It's just by chance suddenly we see so strange languages. So if you see some Greek or Russian appearing in the collection, just don't mind that. The collection development team will give attention to it. Then you see these grayed out, these covers. Well, there's nothing wrong with the content. It's just classics that's made available. It doesn't cost library service anything to include this. And then, of course, these books are made available by Overdrive also. And it doesn't cost us anything. So if I wanted to do an action with this, and I wanted to see here, click on this, it will show me what's about with this book. All right. If I clicked here, it means that I wanted to borrow this book. So what happens? This card, my card tells me I've already got 2 loans out. All right. So it's not going to allow me another book. So you appear to have reached your loans limit. For this card, to borrow this title, you should first return another loan or attempt to borrow anyway. Let's attempt to borrow anyway, but it's not going to work. Just wanted to show you. All right. And I say borrow. You've reached your loans limit for this card. To borrow this title, you should first return another loan. Now it gives me more options. I can either place a hold or I can keep browsing, except if I wanted to get rid of something. All right. Let's place a hold. I place a hold. I'm willing to wait for this book. Now you can see this book. Of this book, there's unlimited copies because it does not cost. It's free books. It's most probably a due classic or a what is that other word? Yeah. Anyway, it is the free books available on the system. Right, so now I place a hold and I could either read a sample now or I can suspend the hold. Keep browsing. So let's see if I want to work on my hold that I already placed. I can change this. So now I'm going overseas or somewhere and this book will only become available, say like in 7 days or in 2 weeks normally, but now I go overseas and I'm willing to wait. Again, it will ask me to update a hold. If you do not confirm any choices that you made, it will not apply it. So I'm going to update my hold. So now I can go to my shelf and this is my bookshelf of 2 books. Right. So this is also my bookshelf. I will first go to the library, the big collection. All right, let's see. And we go back to subjects and I want to go back to the main collection. This is always your main collection. This is your main menu that takes you to adding a card, signing out, stuff like that. Main collection, this is your bookshelf, my bookshelf. My bookshelf of 2 books. I've got 3 loans, so I want to go see my loans, my holds. All right, I had a loan on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I placed it on 16 August. So if I wanted to manage my hold, I go there. And now I can see deliver later, cancel, hold, reading journey. That's my history. Or I can share a title. Now, share a title is when you have read a very nice book and you want to bring this to someone else's attention. Then they become aware of it, but they will only be able to come and borrow it if it's available and if they're a member of a library. So it sort of sends them a link to create awareness. Right. So this means I have to wait another 2 weeks. But maybe now I don't want this book anymore. Then I'm going to manage my hold. And I'm going to say cancel my hold. Cancel hold. And here it will tell me this is the card with the you are canceling, and I have to confirm it. So I say cancel hold. Right. So you can place holds, you can cancel and manage your holds. This book has been suspended for 180 days. If I click on it, I can make changes here again. So I don't want any of that. And I have to again confirm and update my hold. Right. So I go to my bookshelf. There's my bookshelf. Right. So now what is these? Okay, you know about the loans, the holds. What is the tags? Tags are my wish list. So you can see here, if I click on the tag, I have put here, say like this. So these 15 titles in this. All right. So this is like it's every title you borrow will be added to this tag. So this is a tag that I set at some time. Here you can see how it's available or not. All right. So going back to my shelf, and I've got 4 tags. I want to see this. Right. These are the books as part of my training that I put on a wish list. So this looked like the Boy, the Mole, and the Fox and the Horse looked like a really interesting book. Oh, and the Personal Librarian is also a magnificent book that I heard about. So these books are all in my wish list. So, and here at the right, it tells me if it's available or not. So say like Craigie I read this book. It's absolutely lovely. I had so much laughs. I read it aloud for my mom. Brilliant. I really, really liked it. And it's available to borrow. And of course, so there's 3 copies available and I can borrow it. So it's available. But now remember, I've already got 2 books out. So it will probably tell me I cannot borrow this because it is out. All right, so here there you can see the link to share. So if I share this book, I can go to WhatsApp. And I am going to go to WhatsApp and I'm going to look for, say like, Cornell Jonk. And I'm going to send this to Cornell. And there she will get a copy of this, a link of this to create awareness. All right. So, but we're going back to Libby. So there you can see what you can do with it. If I clicked on this, it tells me more information of the book and the aware of the availability. You can read a sample of the book. And there's more information about this. But take note that the sizes of the files of books are not in the app. It's only on the website. I don't know why they did that. Because people would like to know what the size of a file is before they download it. Please remember that audiobooks are always larger than ebooks. Because sometimes the public will want to know, but doesn't it take a lot of data? Yeah, if you download an audiobook, and even can easily be up to 600 to 800 megabytes per file for downloading, while another book, depending on what publication it is, it can be quite small, like only 100 or 150 or 200 kilobyte. So some books can be very, very small. Right, so you know about the journey, your history. So there you can see everything. I made 21 loans, I had 10 holds and 19 returns. All right, because why? I've still got 2 books out, so I returned 19 after I had yeah, and I loaned 21. Right, so, and there you can see everything on what is the status of every one of them, and when it is due or when I did an action. Right, so if I went here to the search, I can do specific searches here. So like rich dad, poor dad, and it will take me to the book, show me everything about it. And of course, it's only the one book that's available. I can say read a sample. And you can see I set my background in the previous session to sepia. And again, I can change it. Now you can see here is a bookmark. Okay? So this, Libby remembered my bookmarks. So I want to see what are all the bookmarks I placed. So that is like a little catalog drawer. If I clicked on that, it will show me everywhere I put bookmarks in this book. So I used this book quite a lot during training in the beginning. So this, if I now borrowed the book again, I would be able to go there and go look at that specific page. If I clicked on that page, remember we're not in the actual book, so it won't do this. But you can see here we are on a bookmarked page with a bookmark here at the top. If I yeah, you see it plays a hold on this book. That's why I tried to read something else. I can only page back. So if I click on the right side of the page, I will page on. If I click on the left side, it will page back. And you can see when I'm off the page mark, the bookmark page, the bookmark goes away. So yeah, and again, I can do my settings. I go to A, and I can set the scale. So if you want to include abnormal sized lettering, you click there, and then you can pull this. And so those who really struggle to read can clearly see. All right. And also I can set my lettering to say like custom. And as I showed you earlier, I can make it heavy. You know, if I look there now, it is bold. So the lettering is dark, easy to see, and large. So, but it's very uneven, so I don't like that. And I can change that. I can tell it to justify it. And if I look now, you can see changed it so that it is more even. But not everyone like that. So you can change that. Right, but this is a little bit too large for me. So I'm going to do that. So if you did not choose, now you can see it's still heavy and weighted. It's not too bad, but I don't like the look and feel of this. You can go and change it back. So I want the normal and left. And you can change your, well, the font size, the font type is fine with me. And at the moment, the font size is fine with me. All right. So there you can see this. What is interesting is man's mind. We can do mind mapping. So if you read a printed book and you look at the page, you scan through a number of pages. At the end, you can, if someone asks you, so can you show me where you found the photo of Hitler, you know, being photographed with one of his paintings or whatever? Then you can remember, oh, I saw that picture, the photo at the bottom left-hand side of the page, almost a third through the book. That is mind mapping. You can remember that. But with this, with the ebooks, it's not as possible because you can see, yes, there's no page number because I can change the font at any time. So the number of content on this page may differ constantly. All right, so I can again do a search in here. So I can say, this is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I can say, show me everything about investing. So remember now, we are in only a part of the book. Okay? It's not a borrowed book. So there you can see it is grayed out. All right, you don't see all of the content that I'm seeing yet. All right, there you are. So you can see this is grayed out, which means that you don't have access to this part of the book now because you're only having access to a portion. You can see these little locks. You have only access to this part. But say now, one dad struggled to have a few dollars, the other created investments, one dad taught me how to write an impressive resume. See, hierdie ene sê, don't work for money. That sounds nice. As long as you can just get money. Wow. All right, and there you can see again it's grayed out. I don't have access to it. But if I want this and I want to go read more about what he's saying there, I click on 8 and it takes me to that page, even if it's only a part of the book. That goes even for your whole book. So if you want to jump around, you're actually doing some research or whatever, this is, Libby is working brilliantly for this. So here you can see I can place a bookmark. So if I click there, it will place it. And it will remember it, even only if I had a portion of this book. All right. So I will be able to, next time I get the book or I borrow the book, I will be able to access it. And how do I do it? I go look at all those little bookmarks up there. And there I can see all my placed bookmarks and it will remember this book. Remember, I don't have this book right now. It's not on my bookshelf. So if I went back and I went to my bookshelf, remember, Rich Dad isn't on my bookshelf. All right, my bookshelf. This is what is on my bookshelf right now. Right, and the only reason why I have this is actually the first time I've seen this, because we couldn't in the past borrow a third book. I think because, oh no, it's not in my collection. I cannot borrow a third book. It's ready to borrow. All right, so it means I put a hold on the book and now I can go and read it. So I can go borrow it. All right, but now if I try to borrow it, it will say, no, I can't. You appear to have reached your loan's limit for this card. So it will definitely not allow me to do that. All right, so here you can see if I click on actions, I can change my download rules. So at the moment it is set so that it will only download on Wi-Fi. All right, Sorry, people. So there you can see suspend all holds. All right, so if I'm going overseas or I'm going to hospital and I'm afraid I'm going to miss a book or that someone else won't miss out or wait too long because I cannot access it, remember Libby will tell you 3 days, or Overdrive will tell you 3 days before a book is due that you have to return it. It will also give you 3 days to respond to a hold notice that something became available. And if you did not make use of it, it will automatically pass on to the next person. All right. So again, if I wanted to go to the main menu, I go there. And here you can, I'm not going to go through everything. You can go look at taking a survey which will ask you about your service experience, the app experience, and everything. If you wanted to get some help or whatever else. All right. And then you can see my notification at the top of this book. So if I, so if I now went back, and always if you wanted to go to the library, you go down here. Any questions from anyone? All right, what I can also tell you is that if you do not like some of these curated lists, so like Heritage Month, man, this has got nothing to do with me, then you can go remove it here. All right, so I can remove that. Again, it will ask me to to confirm that. So you see this list will be hidden, so you cannot completely delete it. It will just be hidden. You don't want to see it anymore because it's not your interest. If it's maybe a list on gardening for spring, but you're not a gardener, you never might work with anything, you don't have a green thumb, you're not interested in it, you don't want to see it, then you can just hide it. And then here it gives you the option. You can go look at all of the 30 titles. And as explained before, you can go refine it and only see what you want to see. So format are there's only books. If there were ebooks and audiobooks, it would have given both. But now there's only ebooks in this collection, in these 30 books. That's why you only see ebooks. Right. And yes, we did consider audio videos or DVDs, but we decided to focus on books at this time. And the other one was the possibility of magazines, but that is very expensive. And we also decided at this time not to go that route. Right. So here I can tag a book. Say if I want to read Anton Goosen's book, I can tag it. And I can say that I would like to read this. So I will put it in this list. It will add it to this list. And if I wanted to add it, okay, I can remove it. Right. So, and if I wanted to go back, in this case, we're not clicking on here, only on the website you click there. In this case, you will always use this little library to move around. And then, of course, you can choose one of these as quick filters, or if you just keep on clicking on the library and it will take you back. But we're on the main list of all the lists. It's not just the one. So you just have to scroll down for everyone. And if you wanted to see all the titles in a list, you have to click on that, see more. And then you can scroll down. and it will give you your choices of what you can do. If you click on the book, it will give you your options and more information of the book. And then if you want to read, you scroll down a little bit, and now you want to read some, you go to your bookshelf, and I click on my book, and it's already in this. I can do offline because it's been already offline, offloaded, downloaded. So I've read 0% of this book already. So now I can start scrolling through this book. And right, then I can start reading this book. All right, any questions? No questions. All right, so I showed you the Libby app, and I showed you the Overdrive website and how to access everything. So it's actually very intuitive. The app, like everything, all the apps you download on the Google Play Store, it's so easy to discover how to use it. Yeah, and there's some of the actions or activities that you can only do, or information only do on the website. For example, if I went back to the main collection, it's the size of, I found it's the size of books. So if I went to details of the book, and there it gives me divided by 100, so this is 4.8 megabyte to download this book. If I went back and say I wanted to see, say I want to, oh, there I've got a notification. Let's click on the notification. So it is this book that is available. So now I can either deliver it later, I can remove the hold, or I can borrow it. So I don't think I want this book anymore, so I'm going to remove the hold. All right. And now there's no notifications. All right. So this is very nice. And remember, I most probably received an email also. Remember, I put an email in so that it will send me an email when I notified it. I see there's a question in the chat. Yes, we have a contract for 3 years. So we will continue subscribing to Overdrive at least for the next 3 years. Yeah. And we will continue. They're constantly busy with selection development. They already have a whole list of titles that they would put into the collection, or to add to the collection. So you say to log in your, I typed a PIN. So what is that? Right, my PIN for at this time, because I use it, is 1234. That's because I do it for training purposes. But normally, people are linked. If I show you this, people are normally linked with their birth date. I just wanted to show you. And the birth date logging in will always look like this. So these different types. So the one is for computerized libraries, in the non-metro libraries, is days like 02 of 07, always with a dot in between and say like 1971. That's the password with my library membership patron number. City of Cape Town is the last 6 digits is the password. And then for non-computerized libraries is the ID number and the birth date. Right. All right, I hope that answered your question. Right, anyone else? Or maybe questions that I missed? All right.
Yeah, we don't have freedom of.
Sorry, repeat that. Will you please repeat your question? All right, so I will make these notes available because, and remember, we revisit this as we receive inquiries from the public and we have to develop our policy. So the most recent was people from outside of the Western Cape who wanted to become members. Sadie, yeah, please. What is your question?
Ek is net nog 'n bietjie onseker. Is alle biblioteekgebruikers klaargelaai op hierdie overdrive of moet ons eers gaan aansoek doen by die helpdesk voordat hulle dit kan gebruik? Want ek sukkel om met die hulle kaartnommer en hulle alles is reg op die stelsel. Maar hulle kan net nie inkom nie.
Alright, then probably well, if it is not on your side, then it is on Conrad's side, the systems administrator. So you have to send him examples. Tell him, take like a proof, a handful of patron barcodes and birth dates. And then you tell him, these people have been loaded, they have been members for how long, they are active members, so their membership haven't lapsed, because if it already lapsed, he wouldn't have loaded it. Because he drew a report of all the members that are registered on SLIMs, active members, and those he automatically loaded. All right, so he used the patron number, and library branch code, and then there are errors. So we do clean up. Cleanups are done. I know some libraries members have been reloaded. So it is possible. So follow up, let him check it for you on the system against what is loaded with him. I know that it has been done for Overstrand, for Paul Library, and there was some others also. So please follow up, send him that information that he can check it out. I'll say, yeah, Itna, exactly. So I know that Conrad has worked with Overstrand, that's where Itna is from, and they had to reload some patrons, and I know elsewhere it also happened. Yeah, and I know Saldanha Bay had the same problem. I didn't know if everything has been set right now, but it is sometimes necessary that he revisit the registration register, the member register. So just follow up with him. All right, so everyone who is an active member and the membership haven't lapsed, because he told us that there were members who should have been removed from their registration 4 years ago even. so I know, I think some libraries administration are maybe not so up to date. And he didn't take that. But then remember, all your blocked members are included. We as a library service just felt we wanted rather to give access to everyone. Then the other thing is, it's also an ethical dilemma that we are sitting with. So many people are blocked. They've maybe been blocked when they were 5 years old, lost something or damaged something. It was never paid because they didn't have money. And now, just in principle, That person is in his 20s or 30s and he says, I will never become a member of a library because they are just plain unreasonable. You know what how people may think sometimes. So, and then the other thing is, and this is something that we will have to address at some time, according to the POPI Act, you cannot indeterminately block people or keep their information because all blocked patrons' information is kept. You keep record of that. According to the POPI Act, we may not do that anymore. We have to, there's a time when you have to finish, you have to deal with this issue, give a time frame to it, and you either let the person pay or then you write it off, you get rid of the information. But we might not indeterminately keep the information of the public. And remember, the information that we keep is everything from their ID number, their contact detail, references, which could include information about family, their gender, and everything that goes with it. So, and according to the POPI Act, that is something that must receive attention. Yeah. Anyone else? And then the logging, the fault logging protocol is really important because that was highlighted, that this is the way it must be dealt with. Yeah. And remember the prescribed form. So if you need to report something, you've got more than 3 members, that is an issue. And that goes, remember, so if you've got new members that you are loading, you can wait until the end of the day or you can immediately upload the people. But sometimes I had one member who he went to the library, they checked and saw that he wasn't a member anymore, it lapsed. So he re-registered immediately. And then he went home and he immediately wanted to have access. And no one told him at the library, listen, sir, you have to at least wait a day or two, you know, to have access. And this guy kept calling me and saying, yeah, but they haven't done anything yet. When are they going to do anything about it? Yeah. So, and you can just understand, ebooks and the loaning of material online is a service of convenience. Convenience is fast, it's immediate, I want it now. And the same goes for our service. So we have to sort of support this service of convenience with fast-tracked service delivery. Yeah, I see Wellington also said here, it's a big problem by us at Wellington Library as well. Every patron that is already a member has problems logging into Libby, and we have to send emails every time. All right. Okay. And Tanya, so your issues are resolved. What was the issue then every time that he reset something for those patrons? Because if it was for some of them, you could even have him look at, maybe it is the whole membership register that must be reset or reloaded, even if only on his side. Because sometimes there's just a space, an extra space or something that must be removed to enable this. All right, but the best is feedback. Don't stay silent and don't just accept that, oh no, maybe this isn't it's just not working for me. Make it work. Keep on reporting, keep on pushing, keep on following up, keep on communicating about this. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Renal, this Mari.
Yes.
I just want to go back to the question that Lynette asked a little bit earlier on about the renewal. I think she meant that if you have this year, you have books that are very popular, will you reselect those books again for the next year, or is it then, I mean, if it's gone, then it's gone? You're not going to reselect the same book for the second year?
Yeah, if it is very popular, the probability is high that we will again select it. So they will keep a list of all the holds, everything on hold. Now, if something is very popular, the probability is high that there are a lot of holds on it. And if there's a lot of holds, then we will probably buy it again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. You said you wanted information about the overdrive contact detail for South Africa. Can I provide that with my feedback for the group? Because I want to just make sure that you get the right ones, because we work with a whole group, a whole team of people. And I assume that it is that you want to go do business with them. All right. So, Tini, you are welcome. Can you send me an email, Tini? I don't know if you've seen what my email address is. I can put it in here. So you can send me an email requesting that, and I will respond with the information for you. All right. All right. So we have seen, and we're already gathering all kinds of information, and it was very interesting. One of the trends that stood out was that the trend is the same between ebooks and printed books. The same type of titles, authors are popular, that is popular in print format. But what's also very interesting is the emphasis on audiobooks and the huge percentage of people who are interested in audiobooks. Which just showed us, and there was already a decision made, that we have to provide for or buy more audiobooks. They may be more expensive, but if it is popular, that is what the people want, and we have to give attention to that. Yeah. All right. So you will see when I share with you the slides. So I've got a whole set of slides that I started and I showed you earlier. It's like this. So there's a set of slides for Libby and for Overdrive. That one is the Libby. Some of the content may look a little bit different already, like this bookshelf looks a little bit different now. And even the, there's another one, I don't see the picture here. Oh yes, here. Normally it was a card, but this is a library. Now, if I go to Libby like this, and I have to unshare my screen again. If I looked here, it's not a card anymore. It is a library. So that is just small changes from the slides, but it was just too big a job to change all the slides. So if you just wondered about that one. So I will be sending you the slides with the notes that will give you a little bit of explanation of this. So the slides will include this. It's a little bit more graphic, lots of detail in these slides. So it will show you, and you will even see more detail than some of the stuff that I have told you about. But, and of course, they use different titles as examples. All right. Okay, anyone else? Any questions? All right, then Mari or Anne-Marie, I hand back over to you.
Mari?
Sorry, Brunel. I just want to thank you for introducing and explaining this very exciting new um, public library service. It's very interesting and lots of information. I'm sure everybody is now hyped and ready to go and look into Libby. Also, thank you very much for your willingness and availability to always um, help when we need a presenter for our PACLIG workshops.
Yeah.
Your enthusiasm and passion for the profession is very inspiring, I must say. Then also, I want to thank everybody who joined us today for the workshop. Without your interest, we wouldn't be able to present any workshops. So thank you very much. Um, then also, I want to thank my committee for your support throughout my term, which is coming to an end in August, September. Um, so, yeah, you are great individuals, and I think that together we made an awesome team. And then, last but not the least, Anne-Marie, thank you very much for your help in setting up and organizing our virtual workshops and meetings. Thanks also for your advice and assistance through our team, um, because we were all new at this and you helped a lot. So thank you very much. Yeah, so that's everything, and thank you all for joining us. Um, yeah, have a nice weekend and be safe.
Thank you, Mari, for the opportunity. And enjoy your books. Tell the people.
Thank you. We will definitely.